we are going to show you the huge difference that having a proper infotainment system with Apple Carplay or Android Auto, as well as having a backup camera, is to your driving experience. And in this video, we are going to take you on a trip as we outfit our Chevy Express, which is the van that we use to pull the trailer with our cars, to go get the frame unbent or go take it from an auction. And we're gonna take that car and we're gonna install this brand new infotainment system from Atoto, as well as their top-down backup camera, which has this really cool technology which takes the fisheye angle of the backup camera and converts it to a top-down experience of your car. So when you're trying to back up to a trailer, you can do it by yourself and hopefully get it first try. But obviously this system is not just for a Chevy Express. It can be for really any car that you want to put it in, including Minis or BMWs. If you haven't yet, please make sure that you like and subscribe, as it supports us more than you can imagine. And if you like these products, we'll leave a link for that in the description. My name is Ethan, and welcome to Car Creation. The package that Atoto sent was this S8 in-dash car infotainment package, as well as the backup camera. Now, when you get your car, you'll also have to look for the stereo mounting kit, as well as a interface that will interface with your car's infotainment system connector. Some cars, it'll be the quad lock that you see in like Minis and BMWs, but each car, like the Chevy Express, can be different. So make sure you check to make sure that you have that. North American cars, the USB power that you power the infotainment screen off of doesn't turn off when the car turns off, so slowly your battery will die. So basically you have to get a little module that will detect when the car is turned off, and so it can turn off the infotainment with it. If you have a European car on the other hand, you connect it to the USB power, the infotainment system will turn off when your car is turned off. Here's the wiring harness. Here's the frame that the infotainment system will sit in. In this box we have the backup camera right here, and you can connect it to your bumper, or you can connect it to a license plate frame right here. And it does have a wire that should run the length of your vehicle. And then also in this box, we have this big blanket almost. And basically what it is these checkered squares, and it's how you're gonna calibrate your backup camera to work also as a bird's eye view of the car. Here we get to the infotainment system itself. Comes with a nice screen protector, that's nice. Then here's the infotainment system right here, and it's the larger screen too, which I'm very excited about installing. And then you have a box here. In the box we have all the cables that you need for connecting to the infotainment system, and these will splice over to the wiring harness that comes custom for your car. And then you also have a Wi-Fi antenna. This is so you can get wireless Apple Carplay. Then we have two USB interfaces right here, which is super cool. We get a GPS dongle, and then finally we have the microphone. All right, so let's get to the install. And the first step for the install is to splice these wires connecting to the car itself onto the wires that go into the infotainment system. Pretty easy. It's color matched, as well as it says on the wire what's it for. And we use these little solder connectors right here, where basically you put the two ends together and you use a heat gun, and it melts the solder as well as the plastic, and you have a connection. And then we also just put another one of these heat shrink tubes on top, just to kind of weatherproof it. Let's do a time lapse of that in 3, 2, 1. All right, so it was freezing cold outside, negative 30 Celsius wind chill. So what we've done is brought it in the garage because we couldn't even make it to the shop. So this is where we're gonna do the upgrade. So as you can see, we have tried lots of different solutions in this car. We've had this older analog backup camera, another backup camera solution. I think this one was wireless, and all of them have failed. So hopefully this one's better. So what we have to do first is remove all the old systems that we had tried to replace, and then we're gonna start taking apart the dash. What we do first is get a 10mm socket, and we have to remove some of the lower dash panels. So this one, the kick plate for the passenger and the driver's side. And once we've done that, then we can start slowly working getting the dash off. And this is actually kind of hard to get off, so hopefully we don't have too many issues. All right, so the screws are out and we have the foot panels removed. Now we have to work on getting the dash itself out. There's gonna be a lot of hard tabs that we have to worry about. So I'm gonna go get a couple trim mover tools, and we're gonna slowly work away from the bottom and go all the way up to the top. So we got the dash unsnapped, and now we have access to the infotainment system. So I had to take off all these connectors and then remove the dash and take it out. So that was fun, but we are all good. I can now access these two, and they're actually super easy to take off. All right, so out this comes. There we go. So, the old system is finally out. All right, so what we're gonna do first is connect some of the wires. We're gonna make sure that the new infotainment system is working, and then we are going to route our backup camera to the back of the car. So here's the old one and here's the new one. And basically what I did was got the larger screen one, so then it would look better in this car. And so here's the wires that we have here that we did up in the barn. And those should just connect right onto this quite easily. All right, so I'm just going to tentatively plug in some of the things back here. We are gonna have to disconnect that, but we just want to test it. And then this right here is for the backup camera, any subs that you have, as well as the external microphone. The Wi-Fi for Apple Carplay. Oh, this is actually the one for the reverse camera. All right, so when I did the soldering in the shop, I did miss a couple of wires here because I wasn't entirely sure if we needed to do them, but we do. So that is the 12-volt yellow battery cable, chassis ground, 12-volt ignition, and the illuminating dash light. What we did is routed the camera cable from the rear of the car, where we plugged in the rear camera. We routed it up along the roof and then over to here. And where it comes out is right here. So then after we do that, we have to solder the pink cable and the red cable, which is reverse detecting wire as well as ignition wire. So we're gonna do that right now, and then we should be set to start putting this all back together. All right, so we have it all together. So now we're gonna put in our frame that it all sits in. So this is gonna mount on here. So how it works is that this frame is put into the car, and then the head unit is connected into the frame, and then you put on the trim around it. Now, because the screen is bigger than the head unit itself, on this specific unit, what you have to do is remove the cage, then screw on the edges, then we screw the cage onto the frame that goes into the car, and then we put the dash on, and then we screw this back onto here. It's a little bit confusing, but hopefully we can get it working in the end. So basically what you want to make sure is that this is sticking out a little bit, else we won't be able to see to reach our screwdriver down and screw it back in. All right, so we got most of the cables all set up. We should be all set to turn it on and see if it works. So without any further ado, I need to plug in the battery, and let's see. It's lighting up. It's coming. Oh, look at that. Let's go. Let's go. Okay, so this works. Test the reversing camera, and it works, but we still have to calibrate it to get the nice top-down effect. So now that it's all working, we took this screen back off, and now what we have to do is put our frame on. So now I'm going to try to get this dashboard back on before we then go and put the infotainment system in. Now that we have the dashboard on, we're gonna try to put this infotainment system in now. So what we're gonna do first is I'm just going to route these USB wires down in case we want to use them at some point. Then we can go and take this wire and plug it in. So don't forget the microphone. What we're gonna do is just put that up here, and I think it should fit if I route it carefully. All right, so then this plugs into the external microphone, and then feed everything back there. You go back, and you go back. So that's on, and now we're just going to, before we screw this in, we're just going to turn it on and test all the functions. Aha! Shows the rear view camera. All right, so I finally got to this point here, where all we have to do is find a small screwdriver, the little Star Phillips bit on the end, and then we can start screwing the screen to the head unit. I guess the head unit and screen combo to the frame. And so basically you just get the screw, go into the little space you made on the side and screw it in. And I have this one available for me here, up here, right here, and over here. I have that in, it should be in place. So now we get to the exciting bit where we remove the screen protector. Always do this last because the amount of times I've accidentally scratched the screen or seen other people scratch the screen, it's just not worth it. All right, so now we're gonna calibrate the camera, and then after that, we can see what the system is all about. All you have to do is put it into reverse, and then what you do is tap the screen 6 times in the top right corner, and then after that, you tap the camera, and it'll bring up settings to calibrate the reversing camera. You want to make sure that your mat is laid out on the floor with the lines directly in the middle of the car, and then you pick your dimensions of your car, and then you go through and put it if it's a car or an SUV, and then you go down, and what you want to do is adjust the camera so the squares behind you are directly in the middle. And after that, save and exit, and you're good. All right, so all installed, and it looks amazing. I love the bigger screen. It doesn't look way too small inside this big car. And also when you're driving, it's kind of in your vision. So if you have maps up, you can see it without having to look down, which is very helpful. The nice thing about this, which is even different from like OEM Apple CarPlay systems, is that it has its own EQ. So if we go back to their system, we can go to EQ, and then we can actually change this and how we want it. And they have a bunch of presets for us. So if you like classical music, you can turn that on. If you like jazz, or you can just change it yourself. One of the nice things about this infotainment system is that it comes with this tracking system, so that if you have the 4G SIM card in there, what you can do is download the app on your phone, and you can see where your car is at all times. So if you lose your car, or if it gets stolen, or if you rent your car out on Turo, or you have a fleet of cars, you can always see where your car is and track it from there, which is super helpful. And then if you want to get back to your Apple CarPlay, it's really easy. Just hit this right here, and it'll open up your phone again and connect to Apple CarPlay. And not only does it have wireless Apple CarPlay, it also has wireless Android Auto, and the operating system is Android. So basically, if you connect to Wi-Fi when you park close to your house or your hotspot on your phone, you can download any Android app on your phone, and you could watch YouTube videos, you can do whatever you want with that. So that would be super helpful if you're just sitting there and want something to do. So one of my favorite things about this, and one of the reasons I really wanted to upgrade the screen in this car, was to get the backup camera. So if we put it into reverse, it should change on here to show the backup camera. And then you can change the style of backup camera. You can have with the blue, or you can have it with line. And you should be able to see if you're too close or too far away from something. So here we're coming up to something in the snow. And this is super helpful if you're trying to back into a parking spot, get between 2 cars, as it will show you a top-down view of the car, and then show you if you have cars on either side, or if you have a building there, or whatever, so you don't hit it. And what I really like about this is that we're backing up to a trailer hitch. Hopefully, we should be able to see exactly where the trailer hitch is, and not have to have someone back there directing us in. All right, that has been our video. We hope you enjoyed. If you like these products, take a look at the links we have down below, and they have a whole list of products, right from suction cup, Apple CarPlay devices that connect to your window or dash, the 7-inch screen, all the way up to, I think, a 10-inch screen. And if you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. I'd love to hear what vehicles you put them in, if you have any issues, or if you really just want some help with your install. We hope you enjoyed. If you haven't yet, please once again make sure you like and subscribe. But most of all, we hope you all have an amazing rest of your day, and we'll see you all in the next one.